Al, do you ever have a game that you're like, man, I really wish a lot more people played this so I could have conversations with them about it, but it seems like just no one really plays this game that I'm just super, super into, and it's an incredible bummer. Like, why are more people playing this game that I really enjoy? Everyone in the world should enjoy this game that I love, because it's great, and I want the world to know it's great.
I mean, to be fair, that's like most of my life. But yes, yes, yes.
Well, what better time than now to talk about a game such as that?
I finally got one person to play it.
One person.
One person. Maybe this podcast will convince another person to play it.
And then the chain will continue.
Oh my God. I've been recommending this game since it came out to everybody because I think it's fabulous and no one will ever play it. It's really upsetting.
Well, now they'll have a new way to play it.
They will.
They will. And that's what we're going to talk about today here on the Season Language Checkup OVA, a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined by a person who really wants people to play this game. That's Ladyem.
Hi.
In case you are not aware, or if you've not listened to previous episodes of this podcast.
Wait, did I want people to play this game or who I am?
That you want people to play this game, because you have mentioned it on previous episodes.
I've mentioned it in several episodes at this point.
And as we were talking about, we were going to discuss Radiant Historia, and probably a little bit more specifically, the 3DS remake that just came out, Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. Mm-hmm. Because what better time to talk about a video game than when a real release comes out? It's not like we have done that recently or anything.
Yeah, no, and I mean, especially because it seems like nobody played the original except for me. I mean, I guess somebody did since they remade it, but
yeah, I would hope someone did, or else everyone's like, "Why are you guys redoing this? No one played this game."
I've just yet to find somebody that's actually played this game, and like now I have you, so there's somebody there.
Hello.
But like I told you the story about how my friend Nick, like I've been telling him since 2011 to play this game. There's like an ongoing joke between us. I'm like, hey, so have you played Radiant Historia yet? And like every time we hang out or like text message or something, it's like, so about Radiant Historia, have you played it? And then one time he got me, he's like, I finally played it. I finally played Radiant Historia. It was great. I'm like, what? You did? Let's talk about it. He's like, no, I'm lying to you. I didn't play it. I'm like,
that's a real bad goof.
Oh, I was so upset because I was like, there's finally somebody. It wasn't. So I still have to harass him every once in a while about playing Radiant Historia. And like I sent him videos of me playing the demo and like, Radiant Historia, right? So like it's kind of been a life goal of mine to get people to play Radiant Historia.
Well, now if you don't want to play the original DS version, there's this new 3DS version out that people can buy that has some new stuff in it, has some voice acting, has some pretty questionable changes to a particular character.
Overall, I'd say it's a better version. There's some changes that I'm not really in love with, but overall, I'd say that like yes, I'd recommend Perfect Chronology over the original.
Which you can rectify.
And some of it you can.
Yeah.
But not all of it.
But yeah, this was obviously my first experience with this, because I don't know if I'd actually heard much about this game prior to knowing you. Which,
and then,
granted,
then you became friends with me.
Yeah. That's kind of a trend. But you had kept on mentioning this, and with the lead up to the game coming out and all that, Nintendo put out a demo of it. And I saw that and I was like, okay, I'll check this out, because you kept mentioning it, and I figured, hey, if Al likes it, then at worst it's okay. So I mentioned it to you, and the weird thing was I mentioned it to you, and you were like, maybe I'll play that. I don't know. And I was like, what the f***? You've been
Well,
mentioning this game for the past year, and now a demo's coming out where you could play a little bit of it, and you're just like, I don't know, I maybe I don't want to get this demo. I was like, what the f?
I didn't realize that the save data would transfer over because I thought that I'd have to replay everything again, and so I was like, time is precious.
What time?
I could be sleeping. But once I found out via you that like the save file transferred over, I was like, yeah, I'm in. And then like proceeded to put 10 hours into the demo.
You basically maxed out the demo to as far as you could.
I did literally everything that you could potentially do in the demo.
Which the demo grants you, which I mean, this really isn't meaningful now because you can just buy the game.
Yeah.
You can still get the demo if you want to try it out. I guess that's fair. The demo gives you access to the prologue and then chapter 1 for both histories.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good, introduction to the game and gives you a good taste of exactly, the mechanics of the game, how it plays, and what exactly is going on. Because that certainly helped me figure out exactly, what this game was, and ultimately for me to decide, hey, do I want to buy this game or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to test it because when it came out, I just bought it straight up and played it, and I loved it. But I've also been burned doing that before, so
yeah,
I get it. And the demo is a really good introduction to like the battle system, some of the main characters,
story.
You understand like the mechanics of it,
right?
So it's a good introduction. And like I said, I put 10 hours into it. Because you can get to level 20 with all your characters through the demo.
Yeah.
But then it locks you out of any further. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's a good way to test to see what you think.
Yeah, sure.
But if you don't like it, then you're wrong.
Maybe not wrong. Maybe it's not going to be to everyone's taste, but if you're Al, then yes, you're wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong. If they don't like Radiant Historia, they're wrong.
Let's talk about some release dates real quick before we move on.
Let's do it.
Other stuff. So this originally came out on the DS, the original one, in Japan on November 3rd, 2010. Came over to America on February 22nd, 2011. And then the 3DS remake came out in Japan on June 29th, 2017. And then just recently in North America on February 13th, 2018. And in European regions on February 16th, 2018.
It was my Valentine's Day date.
Yes.
Which, I mean, you realize I've been sitting on this since 2011 trying to get somebody to play it.
7 years.
It's insane.
7 dang old years by the time this episode comes out.
Yep.
In 2 days. But yeah. I feel like I understand why you would want people to play this game.
It's so good.
It's a fun old jaunty ride. Which we learned this just recently. By recently I mean just before we started recording. The director of this game, Mitsuru Hirata, he directed this in 2011, obviously. And then the next game he directed, or at least I guess was part of the directing team for, was another game that we highly, highly appreciate and enjoy.
And underrated.
Yes, that too. And that was 2016's Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
I mean, this dude just like keeps knocking it out of the park on these directing games, and like, yes,
it really makes me interested to see like what this dude will do next in terms of directing, like, because these two games have been great. So like, I would totally be down for whatever he would be doing next. And like, this Wikipedia page even mentions that like this was the game he was like he wanted to do this game to remake it. But Tokyo Mirage Sessions kind of got in the way of that, and then they were going to put it out on some other. I mean, it says a different portable platform, but like, obviously that's probably the Vita.
Yeah.
Which is strange, I guess, because there's really no other different portable platform at the time, unless they were talking about like the Wii U, baby. But that's not a portable platform. or maybe mobile, but even then.
Yeah, because I don't think that they really had the time to do it on Switch.
I mean, yeah, Switch wasn't even really talked about around the time of TMS coming out.
Yeah.
So it would not have been Switch. But then they decided to go for the 3DS because it was like, hey, this already has an install base that has a lot of people on it, and obviously people would play the original one on the DS, so crossover there, voila. And I guess like he also had to basically like he went to Atlas and was like, look guys, I want to do this remake. Look at this. Look at how there's a good following here in Japan. There's a good following overseas for this game. Let's do this. And then they were like, hey, okay, let's do this.
I feel like we should definitely keep an eye on him, see what he's up to.
I would agree 100%. So yeah, Radiant Historia, it's got some good pedigree to it.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess we should start off with non-spoilery stuff about it.
True, yeah.
And then we can move into spoilery stuff, which you've had long time to play this, which nobody did.
It's a little weird, I guess, for this game, considering it's a remake, and it's been out for 7 years. I mean, the only thing that would be real spoilery would be the new stuff. Because there is new story stuff to this game.
Yeah.
Including, like, a post-true ending.
Oh, man, which I really like.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing that I do want to mention is you were hesitant about the battle system.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It kind of has this feeling of, like, pseudo strategy RPG elements to it, where the enemies are on a grid system.
Yep.
I guess it's kind of... I guess you would probably know a little bit more about this than I would, but it almost kind of seemed it was reminiscent to like something like Kodelka, except like the players didn't move, but like the enemies had this grid they could move around on.
Yeah.
But just not in a 3D environment.
Yeah. I feel like it works. And I can understand why people wouldn't like it, because it does kind of have like a strat RPG style to it. But the thing that I think sets it apart is that you can move enemies around the grid and use that to your advantage to defeat them.
Yeah, I found that fine for like the battles I had to do it for.
Oh, that's another thing worth mentioning. There are new difficulty modes.
Yeah. We'll get to that like in just a hot sec. But I think for me, just the monotony of having to do that for every single battle, I already felt like I was like, I'm probably not going to be down for that. So luckily, the game allows you a difficulty change at any point. You get one. So if you start on like normal, you can either bump it up or bump it down.
Yeah.
And the new like easier difficulty they have, I think it's just called friendly. And essentially they're just like, hey, if you want to just enjoy the story, this is the difficulty for you. Or if you just want to play the game and not have to worry about fighting, it's pretty much difficulty for you. So, in the game, in order for you to initiate a battle, you will see enemies on the field, and you will essentially like swing at them, or you can have them run into you. If you swing at them, you'll get like first priority of attack, basically.
Yep.
And if you're on this difficulty, the friendly difficulty, you hit them, battle's over. You hit them and done. And that's it. So basically, you can pretty much power grind pretty quickly in this game.
Yeah.
With that on.
It's great. And I originally went with normal, and then I didn't realize that was the case with friendly. So once you told me about that, I switched because I figured, I'd already played the game once. So
right, yeah.
It would just be to my benefit to go ahead and make it easy, which I ended up getting like all but 2 characters to level 99 because of this.
Yeah, you can easily get to 99 like halfway through the game.
Yeah, and
kind of break it.
I beat the game the first time on like level 58 or something like that. So
I remember like getting there and like texting you and be like, "Hey, I'm ready to beat the game now."
Yep. So I think I had like one of my characters was at 95 at the end and one was at 86 at the end. So other than that, everybody was at 99. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
but fun.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it deters from the game in any way because you still have to have like fights because you have boss fights and all that stuff, and then like there's a separate section that you forces you to do all the fights in it.
Yep.
So like you're not missing out on like all fighting per se. You're just missing out on like just normal fights in general, which granted I'm totally a fan of any RPG that allows you to kind of skip over fights if it deems fitting for that. Like I think Earthbound had a feature like that where like if you were high enough level you would run into enemies and would just skip the battle entirely. So you wouldn't have to go into it. It would just give you the XP and all that jazz. Kind of like what this does.
Well, and even like Persona, if you're too high level, then they'll just run away from you, which is fine. Like I like that because I don't like it when I'm just forced to fight for the sake of fighting.
Right. Exactly. So like for this, I think it's totally fine. And especially because someone if you look at the fighting mechanics and you're just like I don't know, just throw it on friendly and you'll still have to do for like boss fights and all that jazz, but for everything else it totally cuts out a lot of just the hassle that you'd probably have to deal with if you just stuck with normal or whatever a regular difficulty and have to do like just the normal fights in general.
Mm-hmm.
And also just it probably just cuts out like literally half the time you would spend playing that game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I put 10 hours into the demo and like half of that, maybe more, I had spent like on normal mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so it definitely adds when you have to do all the fights to grind out levels, but
Yeah, I think like my ending playtime was like 30-ish hours.
yeah, mine was near 40.
So like I would probably be at like 50 or 60 if we had done like the normal way. I would assume probably
I
at least
assume,
double.
because I'm at, well, we know that I'm psycho. Because like I said, I put 40 into it.
Right, and you did
as
more stuff than
is.
me because you got all of
Yeah,
like the nodes and all that jazz, which I didn't.
except for one.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Ugh.
I mean, I had the one where it glitched on me, or the thing where it just didn't show up. So the thing in the new mode. So
Hmm.
who knows? But I feel like the meat and potatoes of this game, which I know that's your favorite phrase, is the story.
Yeah, the story is what makes this game.
Which you wanna walk people through it since you were the more expert at this game than perhaps me.
Well, typically when I tell people about this game, the way that I try and describe it is that it's somewhat similar to like Chrono Trigger in that you're having to go through different like timelines to fix things per se.
Right.
But it works in a different way in the sense that like you start the prologue and you play as Stock, and Stock is like super duper soldier type guy. And I forget SI is
Yeah,
what
it's
he is.
basically like they're
He's like a spy.
yeah exactly like a secret agent type thing.
Yeah, he's a secret agent. And so Stock is given this assignment and he's given a book, and he has two subordinates and they're supposed to go on this mission. And he has this weird vision that the two subordinates die. And he's like, well, that's weird. I don't know why that would happen. And so he goes to the mission and everything goes awry, and it plays out just like his vision. And he's like, crap, what do I do? And then like you get these little twinsies that appear, and they're connected to the
Twinsies.
book. Twinsies, yeah. Um, and the book is called The White Chronicle, and you are now in Historia. I wonder where the title came from.
That's a good question.
And so Stock learns that with the White Chronicle, he can actually switch timelines and fix things that have gone wrong. So he's able to go back and make it so that they don't die and he doesn't die because he was like severely wounded. So that sets up the gist of it in that you get two timelines. One's a standard history and one's the alternate history. And essentially the setup is that one is that you join a brigade with your best friend Rosh, and then one is that you stay on as an SI agent under Heiss.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what you pick, which I mean you'll have to play through the entire thing anyway, so you're gonna go through both timelines. It plays out very differently. But you're having to do a lot of timeline hopping in order to get through the entire story. And the characters in this are fantastic. Like
Yeah.
Stock is not really your like stoic uh like super soldier. Like he has emotion and he has a lot of like thoughts and feelings, which is kind of rare. He is kind of still serious. Like he's super duper serious, but
Which is basically how they kind of introduce you to him as.
yeah. But you also get Rainey, who is one of your subordinates. She has a past as a mercenary with her pal Marco, who is adorable.
He's tiny and he has like a fur coat on.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a little tiny bear, but he actually is a human, believe it or not.
And he holds a
Did you
bottle.
say did you say he's voiced by Ben Diskin?
I believe that's the case.
Awesome. Um, as I mentioned before, Rosh is his best friend, and Rosh is a giant with blonde flowing hair and a giant gauntlet, like mechanical arm.
He's a big old boy.
Yeah, he's giant. And Rosh comes into play a lot because he is also like a very strict military man, but they're best friends. So he plays into both timelines in terms of actual story.
Right.
Um, Erica is the princess of the G Kingdom.
The G King.
What is it called?
Granorg.
Granorg. She's the princess of Granorg. Erica is the one that they changed the design on, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah, it's a real bummer.
Yeah, so Erica in the original had like short hair and pants, and in this version, they're like, well, what if we gave her long blonde hair and like a skirt? Oh God, okay. They made her like extremely cute with like chubby cheeks.
It's like what? Why? I mean, I
Yeah,
get why, but it's just like it's a bummer.
she kind of remind me more of like Uranus in her original design,
Yeah, I can see that.
but not anymore.
No, no, no.
Yeah, now she's like super cutesy. Um, there's also Ott, who is I forget the term, but she's a form of beast, and she's a shaman. She's also like a child. She's I think like 10 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of like Riku from Final Fantasy X in the sense that she's like bubbly and happy and all that, but she has like these really conflicted feelings about what's going on in the story because she knows more than she lets on.
Right.
And then what's his Gefka? Because you thought I said you thought I said the guy from Final Fantasy VI.
Kefka.
Kefka. So Gefka is also a beast, but he's a different kind of beast. And he doesn't recognize humans because they've cut themselves off for so long.
Right.
So he just refers to everybody that's a human by like what their clothing looks like. Which is funny in the fan service DLC because he doesn't know who Stock is when he's not dressed. Yeah.
That's real good.
Yeah, he's like, Red one, is that you? He's like, oh, right, I'm not wearing the red outfit. It's good. He just doesn't understand who people are. Like he can't differentiate. He's racist essentially.
I mean, there's a lot of racial tension, I guess, between the two beast factions and then humans.
Yeah, there is.
Because spoilers, Well, I guess not really spoilers, but shocker, humans take advantage of the beast.
Yeah. Wow.
What?
Somebody who looks different than them, they take advantage of? What?
Who would have thunk
But
it?
yeah, Gefka can't tell the difference between humans, and I think that's hilarious. Those are all the main, like, playable characters, right?
I believe so.
So the gist of it is that you have two kingdoms that are warring. You have Granorg and then the one that
Alicia?
Rosh and
Or
Alicia,
Alistel? Wait, Alicia?
Alistel,
Alistel.
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 Um, so that's the one that Stock and Rosh are from. So those kingdoms have been at war for like 100 years,
Right.
and obviously it's kind of like coming to a head because there's this whole thing about desertification.
Desertification. Everyone's going to turn into a big old dessert.
So the continent is becoming a desert slowly but surely. So Granorg has been fighting with Alistil trying to like get land to take over and that kind of dealio. There's also an interesting theme about like religion
Yeah.
in this game because Alistil is essentially run by a religious figure. His name is Prophet Noah, which we're 98% sure we know who the voice actor is.
Right.
98% sure. And he's actually not a bad dad in this one, believe it or not.
Can I say something though, real quick?
Sure.
Because
go ahead.
You basically kind of brought it up. One of my biggest pet peeves with video games, and the fact that it still happens in 2018 is kind of baffling, is them not releasing the voice acting talent in the credits. And a lot of Atlas games are very guilty of this.
Oh, I agree.
And it's just like, especially for like, preservation and like just records and history's sake, like, why not just put those names in there? Even if like you're not assigning them to a role, just say like, here's the people who were in this game.
I mean, it's gotten to the point usually where like the only way we get confirmation that somebody's in it is if they like say on Twitter, like, yeah, I was in this game.
Yeah,
and that's bad.
Yeah.
But we think we know who it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, Prophet Noah is essentially the leader of the one country, and then Protea is the queen of Granorg, and she's the worst.
Problematic leaders abound.
Yeah, so and then you have Heist, who just seems shady the entire game.
Yeah.
And Hugo is like the mouthpiece for Noah.
Yeah, he's the general of Alistel, running the entire army, and like you said, he's the big old mouthpiece for Noah. He'll come out and like give old speeches like, "Oh, the prophet told me this, and this is what we're going to do." Blah 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 blah.
And as mentioned, there are two beast kingdoms as well, and then there's a desert kingdom who has like the best leader. He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you're hopping through these timelines in order to basically come to a true conclusion of the story.
Right. You're eventually going to kind of like bring those two timelines together.
Yeah. So like you'll go through a chapter of one of the timelines and then like you're at a roadblock. I wonder what could happen if you go to this other timeline and like make things change. And essentially what happens is if somebody has a change of heart or something in one timeline, then it'll carry over to the other timeline in a way.
Right.
Or like if you need an item, you can collect it from one of the other timelines and then take it back and clear that wall that you essentially ran into. And I think it's really creative because while the closest thing that I can come up with is Chrono Trigger, like I haven't really played another game that's like this.
Yeah, I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but I guess for me it was very surprising that, given that it is a lot of the story is based around multiple timelines and time travel to an extent, that the story really doesn't get convoluted in a lot of ways.
No, it's usually really clear on like what's going on, what you need to do. Not as much in like the news side story,
Right.
but in terms of the two original timelines, you generally know what's going on and you know what you need to do next.
And especially for a lot of these types of games, you can easily fall into that where it's just like, oh, everything's just super convoluted. They don't know how to like tie the stories together or tie the timelines
Nomura?
together. Yeah. But yeah, like this, it just everything flows together. I think it helps that both the timelines for the most part stay different from each other.
Mhm.
So there's not a lot of like overlap in terms of like, oh, you're in the same place as from one timeline to the other until you get to the end and you have to diverge them together. But yeah, I was very surprised that they were able to pull off like here's multiple timelines, here's multiple stories happening within both timelines, and it worked pretty well.
And it's really, really interesting to me because every once in a while you'll run into a situation where like you know a character in one timeline and then you meet them in the second timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And Stock will basically be like, yeah, I know who you are. Or like the other characters will say, like, you seem really familiar to me.
Right.
And so like you know that there's some kind of bleed over because of the like story bits, but I like that they actually made it so it was consistent.
Like I think in one of those like Gafka's like he knows you in one, but in the other one he's like you seem familiar. Like I don't know if we've
He's like,
met
I've never
before.
met you,
And then like
but
at the end, like once like he like Stock explains everything, he's like, oh, that's why you seem familiar. I guess. Okay. All right.
well, and like he meets Ott in the standard timeline. Then when he meets her in the alternate, she's like, I'm Ott. He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, what?
He's like, what? How do you know me?
Which I mean, to be fair, that is a little weird that Stock is like, yes, I know you, 10-year-old girl. But yeah. Um, one thing that I think is hilarious about this, and just another like side note about Stock, the boy has no subtlety whatsoever. Zero subtlety. Like he's pretty much wanted like in both timelines by whatever country he's in. And like the boy runs around in like a bright fire truck red outfit. He's like, this is fine.
No one will
Nobody's gonna
notice
know who
this.
I am. I'm like, oh my God, Stock, get your shit together.
I'll still be able to conduct business in all sorts of manner while I'm just wearing this huge red outfit that no one will be able to notice. I'll blend in easily in the crowd.
Yeah, he. I think at one point he puts on like a cloak,
Yeah.
but it's only in one story. I'm like, oh man, what are you doing? And even at one point, like the uh the guy who runs the like traveling show is like his outfit looks enough like a costume that it's fine. I was like, wow, get wrecked, Stock. Like if you're a secret agent, I don't think wearing bright red is the best option for you.
Eh. Maybe in their world, it's like red's like, whatever. It's normal. It's
Yeah, I
normal.
mean, to be fair, your main three are like bright red, like mini skirt with giant boobs out,
Bright
and then
blue. And then
bright
green.
blue, and like big furry outfit.
Yeah.
I'm Subtlety is not his strong suit.
Nor the other characters.
Yeah, no, no. I think Ott is the best at it,
But even
but
then,
yeah, even then, Ott's like hinting the whole time that she knows things that she shouldn't know.
because she does, but
Right, right. So I mean, it's you get told at some point that there's also a Black Chronicle to counterpart to your White Chronicle,
right.
and that they're kind of messing with the timelines. So that's like your initial like big conflict. You have the war going on in the background. So there's there's a lot. You have war, you have religion, you have politics, but then you also have just like your standard. There's an actual villain out there, and
Right.
he's messing with things and you need to fix it.
And they're basically the ones to blame for the desertification taking place.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful.
I can understand why they say it the way that they do, is trying
it's
to say
still goofy, but yeah.
Trying to say desertification is really difficult.
Yes.
Just saying desertification is easy. I'm trying to think if there's anything big on like story generalizations that I should talk about. There are a ton of side quests, but I don't know if I really should talk about that.
I mean, there's some that basically you need to get to the true ending and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you're playing, be wary of that.
You can ask us which ones they are, and I'll help you out.
Because I didn't get all of the ones that I needed to get for that, for sure.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that there's an ending and then there's a true ending. Yeah. And I'm trying to, like, give a generalized version of the story without getting too deep into details.
It's a 7-year-old game, Al.
It is, but, like, I don't know. I'm sure you knew what was going to happen, because they're not really subtle about who's wielding the Black Chronicle, right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know the exact connection, per se.
See, that's a good twist, and I want to preserve that twist, because who he actually is important.
One of the other twists is a little bit more... is a little easier to see, I would say.
The stock one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a twist about Stock's identity, and there's a twist about the main villain's identity. And, like, it's really easy to figure out who has the Black Chronicle. Like, it's really not difficult. But finding out why he's doing it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you're expecting when you're playing it.
No. I mean, this game goes places.
Yeah.
I think... I'm trying to remember, there's like 280 something nodes.
That sounds about right.
On the traditional side, and then on the back side of the Chronicle where you get the extra stuff, that's like 98 nodes.
Right. And those basically consist of, you know, your main timelines of, like, in all the story beats of that, your side quests, and then whether or not you continue with the side quest, you finish a side quest. Or there's also nodes for getting bad endings, which you can get on the main 2 storyline beats at any point, or during side quests. So there's a lot
of bad ends.
There's a lot of bad endings, yeah.
Because you're tasked throughout the game of, like, make a choice on this, and what choice you make will either continue the story or lead to a bad end.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a cool way to do it, because usually in games, like, you make a choice and it doesn't really mean anything.
Right, but with this, it's like, I mean, I guess it's a little bit more than that, but it's still not necessarily like, oh, you're making super duper impactful choices, because it's like, one choice is, hey, you're gonna have to go back and redo this again, or the other choice is continue the story.
Yeah, but, like, if you get a bad end, then, like, they give you a story of what happens because of your choice, and it's always really, like, depressing what happens.
They could have went
like, oh god.
They could have went in a different direction, just like, oh, you got this choice wrong, bad end. But they actually give you, like, another cutscene and some, like, explanation of, like, okay, because you did this, here's what happened.
And then the twins are like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't make that decision, Stock.
You done goofed.
Maybe you should do something different at this point, because what you didn't work.
Yeah.
Which, I love the twins. I think they're really funny.
Yeah.
And just because, like, they're so judgmental.
They're judgmental, but also like, we can't really tell you what to do.
Yeah, they only do it once. They tell you what to do once.
They almost die.
They did. But yeah, so it's a fantastic story. It's a fantastic game. It has fantastic characters. And, like, the new story that they put on there, I think, is a wonderful way to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange, I would say, though. Because there's two different ways.
Possible histories?
Well, I think just because, like, there's 2 possible ways you can actually, like, get at that content.
The
where
way I did it or the way you did it?
yeah, exactly. There's basically an option I think very like from the beginning is like, so we have all this other stuff, and if you've played the game before and you know all the story, you know, we have this option to where it'll just sprinkle in throughout the game as you play it. So you'll have it basically from the onset. If you haven't played the game, we recommend you just play through the game normally, and then we will add on this new content after you finish, and then you can go and do that once you're done. Like I'm not necessarily, I guess, sure if like really either way benefits or detracts from the game in any sort of way. I mean, doing all of that stuff at once kind of it's a bit of a grind because you're doing like just little tiny missions here and there.
Yeah.
And some of them is like, okay, well, I get a roadblock. I need to go back to the regular timelines and go talk to someone, and then they'll eventually give me something that I'll need to go back and do this on the other stuff. So, I don't know, maybe the better idea would be to sprinkle it in as you're playing the game.
I think that it works better in my opinion, but I had also played it before, so I don't know. It just like every once in a while it was like a nice break from the story, and it was a way of like trying to see what Nemesia was up to, like, hey, all right.
Yeah.
And also sometimes when you do things in that, it affects the original story as well.
True, yeah.
And that was really cool.
I think just for me, like, just having to do it all at the very end was kind of just a bit of a drag, just because I was like, okay, I want to see what the new stuff is, but I have to go through all of these missions to get to it. And some of them were pretty samey, so it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that I did it by sprinkling it in, like, once I got the true ending, then they're like, all right, let's kick this off. And so I got to, like, right where it was at the end, like, when you have to do the Red Chronicle.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that worked a lot better.
Yeah, I would probably say, yeah, I would agree with you. Because that sounds like it would definitely flow a lot better than how I did it.
Yeah, I mean, the flow of it's much, much better. Because, like, you get straight off the true end, and then you get that, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And you get more of an explanation of, like, why the world is the way it is, and, like, who certain characters were, that kind of deal.
Right. I guess if you are doing it when you're, like, if the game sprinkles in throughout the entirety of the game, like, you just have to make sure you're on top of all of it before you get to that true ending.
Yeah.
Or else you'll just have to finish it up afterwards, do a little bit of cleanup, but still, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I checked back every once in a while because whenever you go into Historia, like, the gem that she gives you will glow, and he's like, oh, I guess Nemesia has a new quest for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would pop in just every once in a while, check, and then I would do those, clean them up, and they had, like, nice rewards, like money.
Yeah, yeah.
So it helped when I was trying to get equipment, which is so expensive in this game.
I feel like by the end of the game, though, like, I was A-okay for money.
Well, yeah, that's because we played it on, like, the super easy
True.
mode.
It's just like I really wasn't going out and buying a lot of stuff after that point, mostly just because, like, I was at 99 and the equipment I had was pretty decent, so I was like, I'm fine. Fine.
I mean, I ended up with, like, a ton of money, but it was helpful when I was buying equipment. So
True, yeah.
I do think that it's better to sprinkle it in, though, as opposed to just doing it all at the end.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I don't know that there's necessarily, like, that many spoilers throughout.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I feel like if the game was doing it the correct way, if there was anything spoilery in any of those missions, they would come to you after you had seen that story beat.
Yeah, and I think that's how it does it.
Yeah,
because I don't remember them, like, spoiling anything major.
It would just be continuation of story beats you've just seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, like, alternate versions of story beats you've seen.
Correct, yeah. Because that was kind of the gist of a lot of them.
Yeah. It's like, this is what could potentially happen. Like, all right, now your best friend is, like, a mega general. Okay, cool. Sure, whatever. Good for him.
Well, do you want to just dive into some spoilers then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, hey, if you want to play this game, And our 45 minutes of discussion so far has been like, you're like, yeah, this, that demo sounds like, hey, there's a demo of it. Maybe I'll just go try that out. Then, hey, we'll probably see you sometime in the future because we're going to talk about some spoilers, specifically some late game spoilers.
Go play it. Also, the soundtrack's fantastic.
It's true. That is also true.
But mainly go play Radiant Historia and make my life happy. That's all I'm asking.
Add to the Owl's friends who have played Radiant Historia account.
Please do. And then tweet at us and be like, hey, Al, I played Radiant Historia and it was awesome. And I'm glad that you recommended it a million times on the podcast.
All right. Well, if you're still here, I'm assuming that means you want to hear about some spoilers.
Spoilers!
So let's talk about some spoilers. I guess firstly, we should probably talk about the end game of the original story.
Yep.
Specifically, Heist.
I'm curious what you think.
Whoa. I don't think loud noise, that's for sure.
Whoa.
I guess I was very surprised with how they handle that character. Because I feel like a lot of stories will have that type of villain.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll just be like, I'm just a jerk for the sake of being a jerk.
Generic bad guy.
Generic bad guy, the Goro Akechi syndrome.
Oh my god, ew.
But they really make you empathize with Heist in a way that I really was not expecting.
Right. I mean, like, they make you feel like he has a point.
Yeah. Which is essentially like him and Stock are essentially doing the same thing. They're just going, their endpoints are just the opposite of each other.
Yeah. Because they have very much like the same fate.
Right. Where basically there's this whole tradition in the royal family line in Grand Org, which they're a part of because Stock is Erica's brother and Heist is their uncle.
Yep.
The former king's brother.
Yep.
And essentially they came up with a way to try and to at least delay the desertification by sacrificing a member of the royal family. And, of course, those two would be privy to that.
Yep.
They would be sacrifices. Sure, we'll go with that. And the gist is basically Stock realizes this. He realizes this is a way to stop the desertification, or at least delay it. And he kind of is accepting of his fate. That, hey, if I'm going to have to become a sacrifice to delay this, then so be it. Heist, on the other hand, sees this and is like, no, this is dumb. Why do we keep having to do these sacrifices and losing people when all this is doing is just delaying it? What if I just enact the desertification and just get rid of all of this in general?
And a lot of it is because his nephew, who is Stock, who is actually Ernst, is his name.
Correct.
But he was very, very close with Ernst.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were pretty much more of a like son and father relationship than his actual dad.
Yeah.
And they like went and did a lot of things together and they hung out together. And so Heist was not willing to see Stock become a sacrifice because he cared so much about him. And like, you can empathize with that. You can understand because he says at one point, like, it's a barbaric tradition. And you're like, yeah, you're right. It is. It kind of sucks. And
also, like, throughout the entirety of the game as well, you keep on hearing about, Prince Ernst was this really good guy, very humanitarian, all this sort of stuff. But then he just died. And no one really knows what happened. But then, like, at the end, you learn that, like, Heist was like, yeah, I kind of faked your death and then wiped your memory, essentially, and brought you over and made you Stock and made you, like, my secret agent dude just because, hey, this would be a way for me to spend time with you still. And also to get you out of that real bad tradition.
Whoops. I mean, he really did have good intentions. He just went about it in a very, like, super villainy way.
He went about it in a super villainy way, and also he was just, like, I guess, in a nihilistic type of way, because he's at the end, the end goal of him is just, like, the world. I'm
Yeah,
done
I mean,
with it. I'm done with all of this.
basically, he would rather see the world burn than see Ernst get sacrificed
Right.
because he cares so much about him. And also worth mentioning that Heist killed his own brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, their dad. Because, like, you're not going to sacrifice me, man. Stab.
Which still, that's kind of a bad thing.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do
Don't
that.
stab your brother.
Kind of inadvisable. I mean, it did sound like he was kind of a jerk, but even still, like, don't do that to your brother. That's not nice.
Right. So basically, that all leads to the final showdown where you face off against Heist and all that jazz. But yeah, like it was really surprising, I guess, to me to think of like how emotional I was getting like at the end of that story, just because I was kind of expecting it just to be like, just prototypical generic villain aspirations and all that jazz.
Nope.
Nope, we didn't get that.
Well, and it's actually really interesting that you don't see that very often in RPGs that you have like this kind of like male relationship, like that kind of closeness.
Right.
And I mean, Heist is entirely driven by his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very rare, especially in JRPGs.
And also as well, just because like you always see Heist around throughout
Yeah.
the most of the story, like he's kind of like looming and like scheming and all that sort of stuff, but he's never directly involved per se in a lot of like the war. He's kind of like in the background, maybe like pushing some buttons here and there,
Yeah.
but it's not like he's Hugo or he is the other
Protea.
Yeah, like he might like try and like kind of like help Hugo here and there, but like even at the end of I think the standard or the one of the two where you kind of like go down, you fight Hugo. At the end, he's just like,
alternate.
yeah. At the end, he's just like, yeah, you've kind of lost your rocker. I'm out. Peace out. You can
like,
let this country just go to the ground. I don't care.
Like this ship is sinking. I'm
Yeah.
done. Um, I mean, he's even like less blatant about his involvement than like the two guys from Granorg.
Yeah.
Um, like you can tell that they're meddling, but like Heist is there, but he's never just like directly the cause of things
Mhm.
other than his Black Chronicleness. But
Like he'll just come in, have some sort of snarky comment, and be like, okay, whatever, I'm out. I'm bored of this conversation already.
like he's gonna be the villain, but you don't know why, and you don't
Right.
like he's not the one that's making all this bad stuff happen between the two countries. That's just like how
That's just,
it
yeah,
is.
that's been occurring since before either of their time.
Yeah, because Noah was involved with that.
Yeah. And all this story starts just because Heist gives Stock the White Chronicle, and Heist basically thinks, oh, he'll get strong enough, but then he'll eventually help me out.
Yep. Whoops.
Nope. You done goofed. So then basically you beat Heist, and then I guess Stock is basically just like, yo, hey, I guess we just kind of came at this at different angles, huh? Whoops. But it's I guess another thing that's interesting about that is that you have that like heart to heart with Heist after you defeat him.
Mm-hmm.
And like again, like you don't really see that in in JRPGs.
No, you really don't. I mean, you don't usually have like a sympathetic villain, and you don't usually have like a all right, let's talk about what just happened type scenario after the fight.
Right. Like,
And I mean, the true ending even gets further with that.
yeah,
but
yeah. I was just about to mention that. Like, once you get like all the side missions done, where you can get the true ending, like there's a moment where a lot of the true ending is kind of like seeing your friends, seeing what they're up to, and then eventually Stock is able to come back, and he's able to like kind of like go around and see how everything's doing, all the friends are doing, all that stuff, like see what they're up to now, and like. There's just like one moment where he's kind of just like walking through the countryside, and Heist just shows up and is like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're just like having this little chit chat, and Heist is like, "Hey, so you want to do some travels with me sometime?" And Stalker's like, I just did this long journey where I did a lot of time traveling. Why don't we just wait a couple years and then maybe we'll do some stuff. But for now, I'm just gonna relax for once. Which again, like, hey, not something you would expect, because you're not expecting
No.
the villain that you just fought to just have this cordial conversation where the protagonist and the antagonist are gonna meet up and hang out later on.
Well, and in the possible version, he even helps you, which is crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Heist becomes this. Well, it's not even he becomes like Heist in general is not a character that you'd expect as a villain. He kind of like throws off a bunch of villainy tropes.
Yeah, and like you said, like in the new stuff, you basically go to him and you're like, "Hey, what if you helped us?" And he's like, "Okay, cool."
Sure, whatevs.
Which, I mean, granted, obviously, I think it's kind of obviously he would help because, what's her face?
Nemesia?
Nemesia. I want to say Neptunian. I was like, that's not right. Nemesia is basically her goal is she's going to try and stop the desertification for good.
Yeah.
So she has this plan to do that. And then once she kind of like introduces this plan to everyone, like Heist is pretty much like, yeah, okay, I'll help you guys out because that's his end goal. He wants to find a way to stop this, and that by stopping the desertification, that stops the sacrifices.
Yep.
So
I mean, it makes sense. It's just funny that he's like, all right, sure, I'll help you.
Here's your main villain after essentially kind of after the true ending when you have already fought him, being like, okay, sure, I'll help you guys out. I'm good with that. Sounds good. It was surprising, I think, just in general, because yeah, like we said, JRPGs don't handle villains in that way very often.
No.
So, can I mention one thing that I felt was real weird about the true ending and kind of the ending sequence in general?
Sure.
Man, that rainy sock romance was real tacked on at the end.
Real tacked on.
Ooh, boy, man. I know this is not a reference you're going to get, but boy, did it remind me of the end of Tiger Mask W, where they tried to tack on a romance between the main character and his manager at the very last two episodes. That really everyone was like, "What?"
No. Like there's an indication that Rainey has feelings for Stock, but like there's never indication the other direction.
Right.
And so when it's like, well, we're dating now, I'm like, what? Why? Like even in the original game, after you get the at Journey's End side quest and like she confesses her feelings and all.
And even then he's just like, yeah, sure, I guess we'll just talk after this.
Yeah.
There's never no indication that there's like a relationship gonna happen, but yeah.
And then like they live together and I'm like, wait, what? What? Like it feels really tacked on. And I don't feel any kind of chemistry between the two of them.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that, they've added some new stuff to this game, but they don't really flesh that out in any sort of way. Like there's no added anything to like make it seem like, hey, this would be a natural progression in these two characters' story. It's just still very tacked on and just like out of nowhere that, oh, we put these two characters together, I guess. I don't know.
And it's like, well, she's the one that's single and not 10 and not the sister. So it's problematic. I don't care for that. And also I think it's really funny that they added in that like Marco decides that he's gonna date like the girl that he's in love with sister.
Yeah, that was weird. I
was like, wow, Marco.
Because in the true ending, I think this is where it shows up. Boy, there's really no indication that that's the girl's sister.
Yeah,
it's just here's a girl who looks exactly like her, and I was like, is it the same person? She had her memory wiped or something? What's going on here?
It's a sister.
Yeah, that was weird.
So they don't do romance very well in this game.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one detriment.
Yeah.
To the game.
I think the only like real romance that I believed was one that you never actually saw, and that was like Elm and the guy with the sword.
Right.
Yeah. Like you felt that their relationship, because like he had carved on the ring and everything for her. I was like, oh. But yeah, as for Stock and Rainey should not have happened, and Marco dating the sister is just really bizarre. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this game would have been fine without any romances.
Or just like put some more effort into it.
Make us feel like they actually like each other.
Yeah, don't make it just seem like Stock just settled. I guess I don't know.
Stock's like, well, all right, well, I'm done saving the world. This girl's here.
This
Sure,
girl was ride or
whatever.
die. I guess that's pretty good. I don't know. Maybe Stock's just pretty basic in what he likes in a woman.
Maybe. I mean, like, but Marco was also pretty ride or die, so like, why not Marco?
Good questions. I don't know.
I mean, Gefka even went through the effort of learning his name. Just saying. Because Rosh is already spoken for.
It's true.
And Ott's 10.
It's true. Erica's
And
his
Erica's
sister.
your sister. So it kind of limits your choices. It's one of those situations like an Ace Attorney where I'm like, maybe there's just a romance with people who aren't in your party. That'd be nice, right?
Or maybe you just don't have to add a romance if it just doesn't really fit or it's not
Yes.
necessary.
Like I said, I don't feel like the romances are really needed at all in this.
Yeah.
But I mean, that being said, it does exist and it's kind of funny. Like we're laughing at it now, but it's very tacked on. I don't like that part, but that's like one of the few things I don't like about this game.
And also romance is essentially the crux of the new story content.
It is. That's actually done well though.
Yes.
Like that I felt for, and there was not at all feeling tacked on, and you actually got some sense of emotion from it.
Yeah.
Felt like they actually cared about each other.
Yeah. It just took them 7 years to get it right.
Yeah, I'm just imagining Stock like going up to Rainey and he's like, so you like me, huh? Yeah. All right, well, I guess we're living together now.
Let's move to one of those desert towns, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, why did he move to Scala? Like, that's not even a good town.
Like, neither of them had any ties to that place, right?
No.
Because she was more from around the other desert town.
Yeah, the one with the nice king.
With Garland, I think. That's his
Garland,
name.
yeah.
But no, they just go to the tiny little desert town. Maybe they just wanted some peace and quiet, some solitude.
Maybe, but like, that's a dumb town. Don't go there.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
It was the only one with an empty house, let's be real.
Or I guess it was the tiniest, like, place with people, so.
Yeah.
Maybe Stock was just tired, and he was like, yo, I just need some rest, and I need a place with, like, not a lot of people.
I mean, fair. I'll give him that. But I wouldn't have picked a desert.
True, yeah. Yeah.
Like, if it were me, I would like, move to Celestia or something.
Something not a desert.
Something not a desert.
Yeah. Don't tack on romances. It usually ends bad.
It usually does. I just, like I said, I'm trying to like envision in my head how Stock made this happen, and it's just awkward. Boy, howdy.
Also, that new final boss is kind of not great.
I had fun with it until I realized that I couldn't beat it, and then I realized why I couldn't beat it.
It was fine until like the last quarter of the health bar when it changes into that.
Yeah.
And it casts that defense spell where it's
Shield.
like, hey, only damage gets taken when it's a 10 hit plus combo, which also that necessarily doesn't work because you can still hit for more than 10 and it will not register any damage. Because the fine print there that you don't get to see is that you have to get upwards of 10 and over, but it basically has to be a new hit once you're past 10 for it to register damage.
Yep.
Which sucks.
Yeah, it's usually a support hit.
Such a not fun.
But what's weird about it is that like I didn't realize that that was the case until I went into like one of the like weird menus and saw that they had that up, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's why I can't fight you. But it was a pretty cool design boss, and
it
I like the
was.
idea of like the dungeon before it and the story with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last quarter of the health, I was like, ah, this sucks, especially because I was using Erica and Rosh because I was trying to level them up.
I mean, I was using Marco and Rainey, and even then, it still was a nightmare because Marco's the only one with like a good multi-hit attack where he can hit for like
Hmm.
4 or 5. The other two can only hit for like 2 at best.
Two at
So
best,
like, I
yeah.
think that's kind of a problem is that like, not everyone has a good multi-hit attack,
Yeah.
and especially for something like that where you have to try and combo together to even do damage, it's not great.
Yeah, I mean the best way to make it happen is like do a mana break
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
break a turn.
So that's basically what I did. I just kept doing kind of dumb attacks and just waiting for those bars to fill up so I could finish it off. Because it's the only way I could really do damage.
Yeah.
Unless I got lucky with like a support attack. But even then, it was very rare.
Honestly, the best character I think to take into that would have been Gafka
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he has like a massive amount of like attacks that are I think he has like a 7 attack or a
Yeah,
9
that sounds
attack,
about right.
something dumb like that. I'm like, all
But you
right,
don't know
well,
going into it, so it's like, it's not like you can
no,
prepare.
no, there's no way to prepare. But
And you can't switch characters in the mid battle, so it's a bummer.
my favorite though is when he would pop in as a support and do that move, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, buddy. That's really like the best thing that they added to this game is those support
Yeah,
moves.
it's real cool. It's something you can
You know what?
tell that the director really worked on Tokyo Mirage Sessions for.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like the added like fan servicey stuff, like why it was Rainy changing at one point.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah,
That was completely unneeded.
yeah, it was. It was unnecessary.
But I think that was about it for in terms of like, at least in the main game.
Yeah,
At least I saw. But there is like also that fan service DLC, so
which is really funny. Because like I said, the one thing is like Gefka doesn't recognize stock because he doesn't have clothes on. But in their defense, they did do fan service for everybody.
yeah, I mean, true. Also, that's
So
the most
like
expensive DLC.
it is because everybody's naked. But the benefit is that you like if you do the bath, then all your HP and MP is healed, and also your like mana bars are restored.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
One good thing about it.
Yeah, yeah. Stock doesn't have nipples.
Of course not.
Yeah,
He's a man in a JRPG. They don't have nipples.
yeah.
No
It's
nips.
weird. And then like Ott's just like running around with no shirt on. Like, all right. You get to see her little furry legs. That's kind of funny. I mean, she is a beast, but
It's true.
also it's really weird to see Marco without clothes on. Like really weird.
You actually get to see like what his actual proportions are.
Yeah, yeah, and like he's a tiny human, but it's just strange because like he doesn't look at all like a human in the game.
No.
And you take him out of his clothes, and he's like, "Hey," he kind of looks like the chef from Danganronpa.
God. Oh. At least it's not the same character.
Yeah, ugh. No thanks.
And then there is also like there's other DLC that you can get. Like there is DLC that it replaces the art with the old art, which is what I got
Yep.
because I wanted short hair
Chibi
Erica.
art too.
Yeah, there's chibi art. There's a new difficulty which is free, which is like a just a harder difficulty. And then there's new story stuff, or at least missions, I should say,
Yeah.
coming out in the next couple of weeks. Like one will be out by the time this is out, and then there's another couple coming out next week, and then I think that's it for DLC.
Yeah, I think the only one that I wasn't I don't want the boss rush.
Right, yeah, that's...
But I'm excited about new story DLC. Should be fun, even if it's like a side mission.
I might hold off on it, just hear what you think about it. Just because it is still paid DLC, so...
Yeah. I'm just a Radiant Historia.
That's true.
So I have a problem. I just want people to play this game.
You do.
It's really...
You really
I'm
want
so
people to
happy
play this
that you
game.
did it.
Hey, I'm happy you yelled about this game a lot and put it in my mind that, hey, maybe you should play this game. And then I was like, hey, maybe I should play this game. And I played the game and I was like, hey, this is a pretty dang good game.
It is a pretty dang good game. I really like it. It's like one of my favorite RPGs that came out in recent years.
And now there's a new version of it. That means more people are going to play it. It's just
Hopefully.
it's a win-win all around.
Yeah. I just want people to play it and then tell me that they played it to make me happy.
I'm trying to think though, like this is pretty much a swan song for the 3DS, at least for me.
Yeah.
I guess like the only thing else that in the near future that I'd probably play is PQ2 because that's 3DS, right?
I think so. Yeah. That's the only thing I think of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like shocked if they moved that though.
Yeah, that's gonna be a strange thing because that's gonna be coming out still a while away.
Yeah, it's like
And
next year
you still want
probably.
to put that out on the 3DS?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. But hey, Radiant Historia, that's a pretty good game.
It's a fantastic game. Everybody should play it.
Is there anything else you want to talk about with it, or should we just say, hey, this is a real good game?
It's a really good game.
All right.
I don't know. Is there anything else I should say? I got stickers. I'm excited. I'm gonna make them into magnets.
You did. There was a disappointing thing in the Japanese art book where they had new version of Erica with short hair that they didn't put in the game.
I loved it.
It's like, why?
Oh, I know something that we can mention. If
Ow.
you do in fact like Radiant Historia after playing it, there are 2 free 3DS themes.
Because you can't have enough 3DS themes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out of... I have so many, and there's only so many things that you can put into the like cycle. I don't understand why I can't just put all of the ones that I have into my cycle, but whatevs.
It's the 3DS, that's why.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, play Radiant Historia. It's fantastic. And if you have played Radiant Historia, then you're a fantastic human being, and I'm proud of you.
And why not play this new version?
Yeah. There.
There you go. Well,
Dead gum good game, guys.
that's what they're going to put on the back of the box.
Uh-huh.
Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA says, daggum good game.
You can tell that you're not from the South because you can't say it right.
Daggone good game. I'm from like the south of the north, so
You're from the South of the North, yeah, but like there are just certain words that are very Southern, and
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
The Midwest twang doesn't necessarily overlap
Translate.
and coalesce with that.
Yeah. Well, you tried.
I tried. Anyways. Well, hey. If you like this episode, why don't you check out some more episodes of this podcast, which you can find at seasonallamycheckup.com or sac.cool. All of the episodes that pertain to this podcast, the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA, are there. And you can listen to other podcasts, like the Seasonal Anime Checkup, or Jared and I watch Sailor Moon Crystal, where we watch Sailor Moon Crystal. And you can find columns and reviews as well. You want more from Southern Ann Ladyem, which she does not type in a Southern accent.
No, I don't.
I
do say y'all.
I mean, who doesn't?
Some people don't.
I say y'all.
Y'all.
Y'all. You go to Ladyem.com where you can find her columns and reviews. They're pretty cool. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/anime checkup, where Twitter stuff happens.
Tell me if you liked Radiant Historia.
That's the place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The number one stop. You can also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. If you want to support our podcast and help us do cool things like this podcast and, some other stuff as well.
Yay.
Next week. Do you know what next week is? The day, or say, do you know what is important about next week and the day that the next week's episode will come out on?
March 3rd. So it's going to be like Switch.
The 1 year anniversary of the Switch.
I can't believe I remember that.
Specifically that day.
Wow. So we're going to do a 1 year look at the Switch, I assume.
Yes, exactly. We're going to take a look back at the first year of the Nintendo Switch and talk about the highs, the lows, the in-betweens, the good games, the bad games.
The cardboard, and what exactly we're looking forward to in year 2, and if the momentum of the Switch will continue upwards, or will we see some downward trends in year 2? I'm excited for this episode. I am as well. I mean, I was excited about this one. Like, I was real stoked about the Radiant Historia episode. Like, you guys, Jared had to deal with me in Radiant Historia, and I feel terrible, but he got through it. He got through it. It was great. You should all applaud him. Oh, wow. Where's all this applause coming from? Totally not me. It's Maxwell. He would. He would. He would applaud you. He's a good boy. He's like, I deal with her every day, so I get this. He's like, #blessed. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, next week, we'll talk about the Switch. A year of the Switch, and we'll just play a Switch by Will Smith throughout the entirety of the episode. Are you going to make that joke again? You gosh darn right I am. Oh my God.